Katharine Pettit Creative, KPC, in partnership with the Black Mental Health Alliance, welcome you to Transcend, Uplifting Their Voices. This collaboration centers and celebrates Black, trans, non-gender conforming, and queer artists through dance, discussion, and poetry, raising funds and offering resources for our Black, trans mental health scholarships for young artists pursuing a career in dance. Black and brown LGBTQ young people need to see themselves in the spotlight, witness their experiences through movement, and hear from trailblazers in the dance world that have been where they are now. Our extraordinary collaborators include Kumar Jewel and Excel Dance Crew, international dancers Zaman and Sundari the Indian Goddess, Tarang Dance Troupe, Zamandari, Akira Armstrong and Pretty Big Movement, Carolyn Dorfman Dance, Maxfield Haynes, and Okoye Miller. Our gratitude to the Caribbean Equality Project, the International Association of Blacks in Dance, and New York Theater Barn for your support and sponsorship of our mission. Make sure to check out our e-program link for more on all our magnificent collaborators. Applications for the scholarships remain open through July 15th at 11:59 p.m. to anyone high school or college age, 17 through 27, who identifies as Black, trans, non-gender conforming, and or queer and are pursuing a career in dance. Make sure you share and spread the word about the Transcend initiative and head to katharinepettitcreative.com/transcend to donate and support our ongoing mission. Thank you for being a part of our first annual concert elevating the Black LGBTQIA community. Transcend Uplifting Their Voices initiative offers each of us the chance to work towards racial equity by dismantling systemic racism through the decolonization of dance. Welcome to the movement.
Well, hello. My name is Kumar Jewel, and thank you so much for supporting Transcend Uplifting Their Voices event. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you for supporting Black, queer, and trans artists, and just artists of color as we develop into this new era of what artistry is, right? Me personally, I don't know if you know, but I'm Black. Me personally, I have had so much help from grants and fellowships and organizations around becoming the artist that I am today, and just being able to give back to the next generation means so much to me. So let me explain to you what you're about to see. One of the first videos that you're going to see is from me. It is called Vogue for Black Lives Matter. What it is that it is a video about Black, queer, and trans people using voguing as a form of protest while also using it as a form of Black joy in this crazy political climate. This video was inspired by an actual incident that I had back in 2020 where I was assaulted by a police officer during a Black Lives Matter rally that was all peaceful. And so I took that energy and I put it into my art. So without further ado, I want you to check out Vogue for Black Lives Matter. Enjoy.
I can't put that over what? I can't put that over what? Put a fuck in that shake it.
Want me? I gave her that cutsy dip. I gave her that over. She said that she want me. I gave her that cutsy. I gave her that over what? Came through up in a, came through a driven in a, came through a cup in a, came through a came in a cut in a. I'm a C-U-N-T cutsy. Why? C-U-N-T cutsy. Why? C-U-N-T cutsy. Why? I came in and I'm giving you now. Her right as that shake it. Now 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 her right as that shake it.
I blow fuck up your town, call me Hurricane Sandy. Make your lights out, iPads come in handy. Cause I'm in the crib with my hoods and the family. The bitches don't like me, but they really can't stand me. Because I rock my rhythm to this. They wanna shake my ass, they wanna play my place. They wanna pop my pussy and feel like pop. Push my kitty when I fix my nigga.
Dream comes out. Who calling me from an unknown number? Me not answer the unknown. Me not pick it up if it's a private call. Thanks to not answer the private call. Who calling me? Who calling me? Ah, who calling me? Who calling me? Yeah, me not pick it up. Not pick it up. Me not pick it up. What? Yeah, ah, don't stop. Pop that shit. Break it down. Pop this clip. Yeah, don't stop. Pop that shit. Touch this shit. Now, let's go. Pop it. Shake it. Break it. Shake it. Feel. Bitch. Pop it. Shake it. Don't stop. Bitch. Can't stop. I can't breathe. I can't stop. I can't breathe. I can't stop cause I can't what here. I can't stop cause I can't what here.
I blow fuck up your town, call me Hurricane Sandy. Make your lights out, iPads come in handy. Cause I'm in the crib with my hoods and the family. The bitches don't like me, but they really can't stand me.
I've been trying to get up here all day for your gay brothers and your gay sisters in jail that write me every motherfucking week and ask for your help. And you all don't do a goddamn thing for them.
I gave her that over what?
I gave her that sexy dip. I gave her that over. She said that she want me. I gave her that sexy. I gave her that over what? Came through up in a, came through a dripping in a, came through a cup in a, came through, I came in a cup in a. I'm a C-U-N-T cunty, why? C-U-N-T cunty, why? C-U-N-T cunty, why? I came in and I'm giving you now. Her better that shake it. Now her better that shake it. Now ow. Her better that shake it. Now her better that shake it. Now her better that shake it. Now ow. Her better that shake it.
I blow fuck up your town, call me Hurricane Sandy. Make your lights out, iPads come in handy. Cause I'm in the crib with my hoods and the family. The bitches don't like me, but they really can't stand me. Because I rock my rhythm to this. They wanna shake my ass, they wanna play my place. They wanna pop my pussy and feel like pop. Push my kitty when I fix my nigga.
चौकनिया तू जोग लगा दे रे उजली कोरी प्रीत पे आसत रंग लगा दे रे रंग लगा दे रे मोहे रंग लगा दे रे कोमल काया की मोह माया पुनव चांदन नाले सोन्यात सजले रुप्यात भिजले रत्न प्रभात नुल्याले नटली थटली जशी उमटली चांदणी रंग महाली मी यवन बिजली पाहून थिजली इंद्र सभा भवताली
अप्सरा आली, इंद्रपुरी फुल खाली पसरली लाली, रत्नप्रभा तनुलाली ती हसली गाली, चांदणी रंग महाली अप्सरा आली, पुनव चांदन न्हाली.
Category is correlation. I got called the F slur before I knew if I really was one, but now, as I speak from the ashes, burning in hell like the bundle of sticks I am, because ain't it a sin to exist? If not for a man, when this tree fell, you were not around to watch it bruise. Now you feel guilty for the blood on the leaves, left rubies dripping from these branches as a parting gift. Always said you would ice me out to see these chains. Don't feel like fashion. Just you fashioning me into what you always wanted me to be. Category is sis. You do be acting a little sus. Because to be black and queer and come from a Christian family seems like a crime. Guilty, nigga. I be in God's gay graces, throwing popping pansexual pride parties in my personal purgatory, be guardian angel. Like, yes, I am looking down on you, but I was doing that before I died. See, this is the time that the fall will come before the pride. But if you want to find my remains, follow the rainbow, nigga. I'm golden like that. Category is queer as fuck, but don't have to explain that. You don't need my nutrition facts. I'm fruity, and you still can't taste that. Category is these categories are starting to feel like confinement. I've gotten too used to diking, building up walls around myself, be a bad attempt at blocking the floods of unwanted opinions, and this feels draining. This feels like rinsing away pieces of myself for a piece that's bigger than myself, like mopping, like we call shoplifting mopping, because this kind of shopping be the only way to lift the weight of being different in a society that wants you to be anything but.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Dorfman, Artistic Director, Carolyn Dorfman Dance, and I am very honored to be here speaking to you in this incredible program, Transcend, Uplifting Their Voices, because it is so important to tell the stories and to uplift the voices of artists and people who have essentially been designated as others. As a child of Holocaust survivors, it is a story that I know well. And being that child has shaped every facet of who I am as an artist, as a woman, as a mother, a wife, a child, a member of the human race. So telling their stories has been very critical to my work. We all know that it wasn't only the Jews who were targeted by the Nazis. Hitler killed anyone that was other, anyone that was deemed less than, not good enough, non-Aryan. Yes, the LGBTQ community, people with mental and physical disabilities, people of different ethnicities, races, all died at the hands of the Nazis, which is why it's so important to speak about these injustices and to stand up. You're going to see a section we call the others, and it really speaks to and is part of a larger section called the American Dream. As my family left their lives and of course oppressed in Europe, they came here, and there were so many things available, but this aspect was not one that they expected. So we bring you the others and a solo from the Fragile Thread that speaks to this phenomenon that we know of so well today, that we must stop, and that is the oppression of others.
When I tried to commit suicide, you were the only thing on my mind. I wasn't thinking of your dimples when you laugh. I wasn't thinking of your pretty brown eyes. I wasn't thinking of your milk chocolate skin. I thought about your voice and how you used to scream at me about my sexuality, how I was too young to know who I loved. When I painted my wrist red like a canvas, you were the only thing on my mind. I wasn't thinking of your beautiful smile. I wasn't thinking of your rosy cheeks. I wasn't thinking of your smooth skin. I thought about your hands and how you used to strike my skin when I said something you didn't like. You're always on my mind, and it took me nearly 13 years to realize it was never for a good reason, and 15 to realize you were never going to change. I always told you how much I loved you, but I never told you how much I hate myself for that. You never listened or took responsibility for the pain you caused me. I'm broken. And you always told me to clean up my mess, so fix this. Fix what you did to me. You love having projects, right? But I guess I was never important enough to make it onto your to-do list. My feelings were never important enough to make it onto your to-do list unless it was about who I loved. But I guess that makes sense. Because to try to fix something, you must first admit that it is broken, and you refuse to acknowledge the part you play in my pain or the fact that you are directly responsible. I have cried too many times for you to keep ignoring how I feel, but I know that you will. And I keep waiting for an apology that will never come, so I'm willing to be the bigger person and say, I'm sorry, Mom. But I'm worth more than the way you treat me, despite what you may think. I wish I could tell you goodbye, but we both know I will never have the strength you made me. Your hands crafting me into what you wanted like a piece of clay, except unlike clay, I am alive. I folded and molded myself into everything you hate. You love the darkness, so you drained the light out of me. You hated my tears, so you drowned me in an ocean of my own sorrow. I tried to fight, tried to prove to you that I was alive, or at least I used to be. The darkness engulfed me while you watched from your throne, laughing, not even attempting to save me after all. It's hard to clean up the mess that you created. I tried to push myself ashore, but once you learn to breathe underwater, oxygen doesn't suit you anymore. I can't breathe without you drowning me. I live to be broken, if not by you, then by the people who don't understand what I go through, what I put myself into by loving you. But I don't have the strength to let you go. And we both know I never
caused me to feel like I was less than a person, but I continued to stay. The door was right there, but I was in a mental maze. I couldn't find my way. I didn't pray. I stopped asking for guidance. Fuck the world, from myself I was hiding. Didn't want to see what I had become because I feared looking in the mirror, only to call myself
dumb.
Like stupid.
Stupid.
Are you serious?
Serious?
Still fucking with this dude? Man, you be better off dying alone or restrooed. So to avoid all that, didn't even look at my reflection. Too many imperfections from my head to my toe section. So I took all the fuck views in every stupid bitch throne. I must be to continue remaining in this home. I must be ugly. I must be unwanted. I must be dumb. I was numb. I wasn't living, barely breathing, barely existing, taking up space. Sometimes I wish I could have just been erased from this place. Taken out. Tired of all the black eyes and bloody mouths, permanent scars and bruises. Always aim for the body, making sure the only minor conclusion. This shit's confusing. You love me, but you beat me. Apologize, feel guilty, let the fact repeat it. You know what? I don't even care no more. Just let me put the baby down. Cause last week she was in my arms when you hit me and she almost fell out. It's all your fault. It's all because of you. Everything will go right if you did what I told you to do. Stop trying to think, just follow instructions. Don't ask me no questions. This ain't a discussion. too many fucked up memories to decipher. So I carry it on my back like I'm climbing through the mountains and proceed as a hiker. The memories of a dig, and I'm a lifer. Seeing the bruises, feeling the lingering pain, don't like the sense, none neither. But I embrace it, because it reminds me to never again embrace you. I thank you, because I'd never be the person I am today if it wasn't for you.
I got no excuses for all of these goodbyes. Call me when it's over, 'cause I'm dying inside. Wake me when the shakes are gone and the cold sweats disappear. Call me when it's over and myself has reappeared. I don't know why I do it every time. It's only when I'm lonely. Sometimes I just wanna cave and I don't wanna fight. I try and I try and I try and I try and I try. Just hold me, I'm lonely.
Stranger to the dark, hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down, because I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we're going on. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a blood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me. Here I come.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to Transcend, Uplifting Their Voices. My name is Mike Joseph. I am a mental health advocate and the host of a podcast called Detoxicity, which discusses progressive masculinity. I would like to welcome of my panelists and allow them to introduce themselves. We're going to start from the top. And Kumar.
All right. Hello. My name is Kamar Jewell. I am a Black queer director and choreographer, born in Jamaica, raised in Philadelphia, now living in New York. And I'm so happy to be here and to be on this panel and to talk about a lot of great topics today.
Excellent. And we can move to Okwe.
Good afternoon. I'm Okwe A. Miller. I am an Atlanta-based choreographer and interdisciplinary artist. I focus a lot on Black queer politics. I'm not quite sure why my camera's not working right now, so I do really apologize. I'm using my computer today. It's kind of acting up on me, but I'm really excited to speak with you all on this panel as well.
Excellent. And last but not least, Maxfield.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maxfield Haynes. I am an Afro-Latino queer ballet dancer. We're currently working with Complexions Contemporary Ballet, as well as ballets and a few other side projects. And I am simply elated to be here and to be talking to all of you.
Thank you all so much for agreeing to take part in this. And we're going to start with a question that I would like everybody to answer. In your opinion, what role does race and racism play in mental health services received and protection for non-BIPOC people, or BIPOC people, I apologize. And what does equity and justice look like in mental health spaces across all dimensions of diversity? And we will start with Maxfield's at the top now. So let's start with you, Maxfield.
Absolutely. So, in my understanding, ideas of mental health and mental health awareness within the Black and queer community are, well, not really the queer community, but within the Black community, are generally swept under the rug. People don't like to actually identify with having a mental illness or dealing with any sort of, there's a lot of stigma around it. And culturally, it's something that needs to be explored and that needs to be really investigated.
Kumar, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Maxfield. I think that a big issue is that there's so much stigma in the Black community. And so when we start talking about how race intervenes, stigma is such a large portion of that. Also, then we got to get into other things such as access and to your point about equity. I think that that's really what's missing. And I always tell people, everyone's always screaming, equality, equality, equality. I don't think equality is the issue; it's equity, right? Because we don't need the same thing; we need to catch up because other people have been given other services and other resources for so many years and we have not. So I really think that, especially when we're talking about Black mental health, we definitely need to talk more about equity and not equality.
Great point. Quay?
Just kind of continuing with what Kamar said. Definitely, I do think there's more of an equality issue. The way we are always treated and regarded within the healthcare system is no secret. It's no different from the education system, the prison system, systemic racism that's fostered this country since the beginning of time. We have always, there's, you can go back into time, just like with the Tuskegee experiments and with sterilization of women of color, just in general, we're scared to go to the doctor as people of color. So why is it any different when it comes to someone telling you about your mental health? It's always kind of what comes to question. It's what kind of comes to me when I'm thinking about these things. So equity, equality, those are all issues, but the culture around it is definitely instilled by systemic racism that has also fostered this country for over a century. So that's also going to be the issue.
How important is it for our people to be represented in the conversation around mental health, whether it be Black people or queer Black people? There only recently seems to be sort of an influx of people of color and queer people of color really discussing mental health in an honest way and as something that's becoming more and more normalized. How important is representation in moving this conversation forward? Sorry, whoever wants to speak, sorry.
I guess I'll start. I always kind of think of, representation being important is it's not the only thing, but there's a certain amount of comfort that comes from having a person of color assist you with your issues. Being a Black gay young man in America, that's not been no easy feat for me as a person. And my therapist is Black and queer, which has also helped me open up, connect, and kind of engage with what I need as a person concerning the relationships and the things that make me who I am. So representation is important. I don't think it's the only thing, because not saying that any person that is within the healthcare system, that does not automatically mean because they are not a person of color, they don't have your best interest at heart. It is an amount of comfort that comes from those that do kind of engage as well. And it kind of places this idea of trust within the community if we see people that look like us, because think about it, social workers break up homes, the justice system break up homes. So how could I even trust anyone with, I'm feeling sad and I cannot get out of the bed and they're not, over prescribing me, under prescribing me, or doing whatever it is that I may not know about or consent to within anything. And also having someone talk about my issues, I have, during the height of the pandemic last year, my boyfriend and I had this irrational fear of going outside and just walking, because just going to the store means you could die. And that's one of those things that we should talk about. And that did, impact my mental health as on top of being stuck in the house 24/7, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah. Anyone else have anything to
add? Yeah, go ahead, Maxwell. Go ahead.
I mean, I just wanted to really second everything that you just said. That was really so poignant and so true. I mean, I feel like we really don't talk about what we as Black people have experienced going through this past year, the trauma that came starting from March, pretty much through the end of till now. I mean, it's kind of always been going on, but I really can definitely empathize. And just now hearing you say that, is all of the representation that I need to hear. It's so important, and I'm so glad that if we keep on talking about it, then it becomes normalized and there's less of a stigma around it.
Representation is incredibly important, especially when we're talking about trying to connect people to services, because if I see people who look like me, I'm more encouraged to want to go do something. I'm more encouraged to, want to be a part of something, right? And I just think that also when we talk about representation, we also need to talk about who's in the room, right? Because as you know, I don't care, and I stand firmly on this. This is my own opinion. I don't care how many years of school you've been through, how many blah 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 you've been through. If you are not part of that community, you cannot 100% speak to their experiences and what they need, right? So a straight white cisgender man can never tell me what I need 100%. Do you have a clue what I need? Yes. Do you know exactly what I need from A to Z? No, because you do not live my life. And that is why we need representation, so that people who are providing services for communities are people of that community as well.
That's a powerful statement. Audre Lorde has a powerful quote that loosely states, "Our silence won't protect us." This quote is critical to our liberation and progress in this and every other moment. In every area of our lives, trans and gender nonconforming individuals need to find their voices and speak their truth. Yet many remain silent. In your opinion, what is at stake when people in any marginalized group remain silent?
Fear is like the first thing that kind of comes to mind. You know, to be brave enough to walk into a space is one thing, but it's kind of hard to exist within the world that anything can happen at any moment. It's kind of even going back to that almost irrational fear that I spoke about earlier. And I have several trans friends of color, and like we talk about this, and it is fear. I don't want to speak up because I don't want to die, is usually what kind of comes to mind a lot of the times. And unfortunately, those that hate them the most are part of our community as well, which is also extremely unfortunate when you think about it. Like, I cannot even be in a queer space and be accepted as well. So, when people don't speak up, that's like always like the trigger for me. It's like I'm scared to, and I think about the times that I've had the anxieties of being in some spaces, like even a black barbershop, for instance. It's like the anxiety of being in there, not wanting to talk. I literally make appointments to get in and get out, so I will not have to be in this toxic masculine space of which they degrade people of color, women, people within like the LGBT plus community. Like, it's just that anxiety and fear that kind of comes with like being in those spaces. So that's kind of like where I land.
Yeah, for me, I would echo everything you just said. I think for me, for a long time, I was afraid to speak up about things, or I would see people in my community who would not speak up about things because, just like what you said, it's about fear. It's about, if I speak up, something may happen to me. If I speak up, my community may look at me differently. If I speak up, people may not support me the same, And so as I've gotten older, I've kind of come into this whole space of like not caring about those things. But once again, it took me decades and therapy and a lot of resources and tools to have this understanding, and a lot of people do not have that. Unfortunately, it is not their fault. So I think that there also needs to be this I don't know, like stigma needs to be taken away around people speaking up about what they need, speaking up about injustices, speaking up about things that are happening in their community that just don't seem right. And just like what you're saying about the barbershop, I actually stopped going to my favorite barber, because almost every time I'm there, they're talking about how this woman should be doing this, and how gay people are this, and how blah blah. It's just always toxic masculinity. And although my haircut was fly, the haircut was always fly, but to what like to what degree of myself am I selling myself just to get that fly haircut, right? Even, once again, I'm not bashing anybody, but it's the same thing about Chick-fil-A. I don't go to Chick-fil-A because I know what you do with, with your money, which is my money that I'm giving you. And God, I love Chick-fil-A's food, but I haven't been there in almost 10 years, because what does it say about me as a queer person who's giving my money to to an organization that is bashing queer people, and so unfortunately we have to learn how to speak up about things that don't feel right to us, but it is not on our community to do it alone. We also need our allies to speak up as well.
I agree.
Absolutely. Talking about the idea of allyship for me, as a trans and non-binary person living out and proud in the world, I really wouldn't be able to do it without the people around me because it is fear. And beyond that, I have felt comfortable about coming out about my identity up until these past few years just because of exactly that, fear. But what I've come to understand is that, my self-expression and my willingness to share myself authentically is my power, and people will respond to it 100%. And beyond all of the differences, what you put on, how you dress yourselves, how you feel like you are presenting, we're all just reflections of each other. And I feel like when people see somebody living their honest and authentic life, then they can find something to identify with and they can really relate. I mean, there's still, of course, those toxic environments. I mean, every time I go into a barbershop, I know how you guys feel. But beyond that, just for me, just living out and proud within my community and is what is most important.
I wonder, is there really an active way to push people to be authentic and live their lives and be vocal about it? I think for some people, if they don't have a support system, the supposed risk involved with being authentic is so great and they feel like they're so alone. How do you get people to speak up in a way that's maybe not just like getting in their face and being like, speak up?
I think activism takes on many forms. I'll be honest, I'm not a go to a protest. I'm not going to get the tear gas. I'm not going to march. That's just not me. And having a grandmother who grew up in Birmingham, Alabama during the civil rights movement, I am kind of okay with being in the South, with being safe and knowing that I still have me to live for my family and all these things as well. I'm okay with that, but I've chosen art as activism as my proponent to speak out and live authentically. It took me years to get to the point where people were like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I make art for Black gay men. And that's what I do. I don't care about white issues. I don't care about like all these like other things. I want to talk about my community and I want to resonate with the people in my community. I want to talk about why there's stigma. I want to also highlight other artists and other people that are doing things within my community as I collaborate in whatever I do, especially here in Atlanta, which is like the mecca of, all the Black gay men. But also still there's a lot of work to do here. And like through dance and like creativity, photography, and just like a lot of different collaborations, I feel like those also touch people too, because not everyone's going to be brave enough to stand out in the front lines or kind of be that person that says like, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to stand up in this moment. But they may identify and be encouraged in other ways. And it could be through the music. I can't speak on how many times people come to me of whatever background and they're just like, what, that really spoke to me in that way. And I can just speak for my art. And I've been to have other artistic experiences where I was like, man, that was powerful. And that really that brought me one step closer to do a little bit more within my craft, at the very least, to share with the community and encourage someone. Each one touch one,
Amen to that. And that's a great segue into the next question, which is, what is it about dance and movement that allows you to enjoy life uninterrupted? And what impact does dance, and I guess to a greater extent the arts, what impact does it have on your well-being?
Oh wow. So I guess I'll start. So for me, when I was 16 years old, I was kicked out for being gay, and I was homeless for many years, and that really messed with my mental health. And so I think as a teenager, going into being a young adult, my only like saving grace, the only thing that was healing for me was art, was dance, was musical theater, because I got to be someone else. Like my life was so hard being young, being homeless, doing sex work at a young age. It was extremely hard for me, but the only thing that was soothing for me, was healing for me, was the fact that I can, put in my headphones and I can be Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray. I can, turn on the Omarion, CD, and I can do the choreography from touch, from the music video, because I knew it, by heart. It was those things because I could get to step outside of my life that was so already incredibly hard and difficult and be someone else, even if it's for 5 minutes. So those types of things really do touch my heart, and that's why I make art, so people can see themselves reflected and say, "That's me." And I can see myself, because a lot of us did not see ourselves growing up. And so I'm happy that everyone on this panel, everyone who's presenting work today, makes art for Black, queer, trans, non-binary people, because we need to see ourselves in art.
Absolutely. Anyone have anything to add to that? Sure,
Just
Maxfield.
for me, I will just say that I make art because I have to. I don't really have another choice. It's where I find peace. It's where I find the joy in my soul and my existence. I try not to go a day without. I really don't go a day without dancing in some way. Um, and it's just where my soul is and where I find my joy.
That's amazing. So, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, trans individuals are nearly 4 times as likely as cisgender individuals to experience a mental health condition. In your opinion, what are some risk factors that may contribute to this data, some of which you've already touched on? And what are some protective factors that individuals can use to assist with optimal mental health?
Well, first, it's the journey within itself is a lot. I have a few friends currently in transition, and it's very beautiful, but it's a lot for them. At that point of wanting to transition in any capacity, you are you have the pressure of what it is like to be within this binary culture of which you are forced to identify by man, woman, whatever this is, and being surrounded by people that don't understand. It also brings other insecurities, homelessness, job security, economic insecurities that come with it. And to be honest, it's it's kind of messed up, like I can't just be who I want to be, but also still just live and exist how I want to. And I'm in the South, so it's a little different down here. I live in a right to work state. We don't like how you are. You are out the door the next day. No question, no lawsuit. It's just our choice. So, those pressures that surround you within society, it really is kind of, that impedes your mental health, especially when it comes to as any person. If you have to worry about where you're going to live and how you're going to get money, that is a struggle within itself that could cause depression, manic episodes, all these different things that will kind of destruct. Like I can't even function. I can't even create unless I'm comfortable at this point. I'm a little older now, but it's like I can't just go throughout space without those things. So when I see people and they're trying to exist within the world and they're denied access because of, oh, I'm in transition, or this is this, or that's that, or I'm searching for this surgery or whatever, and they have to deal with homelessness just as one thing in particular that kind of bothers me the most, especially here in Atlanta. yeah, that I feel like that sparks a big wave of like mental health and a lot of issues surrounding like our trans community.
Most definitely. So if we were to sort of wrap this up with like a call to action for anybody who wants to advocate, and I apologize for the background noise, for anyone who wants to advocate, anybody listening to this interview, what would you ask that they do after this event in support of lifting the voices of transgender humans? I'd love everybody to take a stab at this if possible. I don't know. Let's start from the bottom this time. Let's start with Kamar.
Okay. I am not a bottom, so do not say that again. No, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, you are falling out. In all seriousness, and also shout out to the bottoms because y'all work hard out there. You know, more power to you, honestly. But no, in all seriousness, you are falling out. I'm screaming. Okay. In all seriousness, I want to encourage everyone who is watching this to be an ally, right? No matter what community you are in, you can be an ally to another community. I also want to encourage you to check in with people who are in communities that are suffering, right? I have a lot of Black women who are trans in my life, and I literally at least once a week will shoot them a message on Facebook. Hey, how are you? Honestly, you know, like let me know, like tell me the truth, you know. And honestly, I tell them like from the gate, I don't want to hear I'm okay, I'm fine. You know, I don't want to hear that. Like, tell me how's your head, how's your heart, how's your mental, how's your spiritual. Like, really check in with people. And in my opinion, a check-in is not just how are you, you know, because we're all conditioned in a society to say fine, to say okay, to say I'm good. My therapist, she always tells me when you're checking in with people, ask them, how is your body? How is your mind? How is your heart? How is your soul? You know, because those are questions that you just can't say fine, good, okay. You know, so that's really my biggest thing that I want people to take away. Check in with folks because you never know who is suffering. And just by you asking them that one time, how are you? How's your day? How's your head going? Things like that. That may really put them in a space to tell you, I'm not doing so well. And now you have connected with them. You can help them. You can be their lifeline because a lot of us in this community, we feel isolated. We feel alone, especially in this pandemic. We feel so alone. So reach out, be an ally, and support Black, queer, and trans art. That's the last thing I have to say.
That's what's up. Maxfield, take it to you next.
Definitely. I mean, everything you just said, 100%. I will say mutual aid, direct action. Based on the statistics alone, that shows you how affected these communities are. And so, find a trans person's GoFundMe who's trying to get top surgery. Like, reach out, explore in your community, and use your green, what you have.
Beautiful. And Okwe, we'll close out with you.
I just think of intention and kindness. Be kind. It literally costs nothing. And if you don't understand, like, shut up, learn, pick up a book. There's so many resources out here. Like, there are just so many things you can do. And, you know, you can't change, you know, the world in a day, but you can like change your intentions. And if you set yourself out to be kind to the people within your community, not within your community, I just know this, like, you know, we all want to be happy, we all want to love, and we all want to, like, you know, live the best life we can. And like that really comes from being truly kind. And I do that like alongside of working as an artist. I serve at a restaurant, and like that's like the easiest part of my job is being nice to people and making sure they have a great time. And I take that with me within everything that I do because you can make anyone stay just like you can ruin it. So if you set your intentions on doing that, you shouldn't even like be out here in the world interacting with anyone that could be different or whatever. If you don't understand, take a minute to learn. Read. You're on your iPhone anyway.
understand?
I agree. If I can add anything, I just want to make sure that people understand the concept of empathy. It's really important to take a second and imagine what it's like in other people's shoes. I mean, the four of us participating in this conversation are all Black, queer, and creative, but we're all also very different people. So it really is about knowing that not everybody has the same experience as you, not everybody goes through the same thing you do, but what we do all go through and what we all experience is completely valid. And just being able to imagine what someone else may be going through, even if you can't objectively understand their experience, I think is really, really important. And you bring that in with the kindness, and I think that really sort of is what leads to change. You know what I'm saying? So on that note, I would love to thank all of you for your time and energy and for being so open and brave. I appreciate y'all. I hope that the people watching appreciate y'all. I'm sure the folks that organize this appreciate y'all. And, enjoy the rest of your evenings. And I hope that everyone enjoys the remainder of the show. Thank you very much.
Hello.
I came out to the keyboard, found queer in the first 4 letters. It was the only alphabet that taught me to take backspace in my home, hid my sins, and only used the computer as the confession box. Finally found the almighty Tumblr, and oh my God, the titties that traveled my timeline. My PC had never been filled with so much pussy. I said, fuck celibacy. Being gay is a celebration. Just because pride is infectious, don't make it a virus. Use the internet to connect us ironically. We hide behind a binary. Thanks to modern technology, don't need no God. Now I know science as a savior. The smallest molecule of life is no longer an atom, but a bite of Eve's forbidden fruit. Is it blasphemous to confide in an apple when we're both the only ones of a kind, the only ones of our kind in this holy place? But God knew that. DNA is just divine coding, and these codes have become another heaven. Sometimes even the safe haven of passwords aren't enough. The shade room got so bad that they treat us like Skittles. See how many labels they can squeeze onto one wrapper, no light existing in the comments. So imagine how easy it must be to eclipse us in real life. I know too many people who hate when June comes around, hate when men in dresses and bitches who like bitches gather to celebrate. Like, why can't they do that shit at home? Dress up is a closet activity. Kissing girls is a closet activity. Fuck you coming out for. People still discuss concealing gayness like it's a conversation to be had. And when I won't have it, they say I'm putting up a firewall. Stonewalling, like the Stonewall Inn all over again. Used to hide in sidebars, still ended up behind bars. June 28, 1996, the streets became a battleground. And when the police saw refuge in our home, we set that shit on fire. The first Pride Parade was a riot. My mother thinks queer folk got too many rights to still be marching, and I don't know how to tell her. We're somewhere between the storm and the sunshine, hence the rainbow. And honestly, I'm tired of watching colors float into the sky. Brown queers turn angel, turn energy. How rainbows passing through prisms. Prisms are transparent, so every rainbow knows what it's like to feel invisible. How many trans women have virtually disappeared, made it onto our timelines after theirs ended, only to be replaced by another name, another face, another symbol. My father hates the gay flag almost as much as he hates queer people. If he ever knew I loved girls, he'd hang me from that rainbow just to see the color drain from my face, then try to tell me how love should work. Defining love through technicalities, so we redefine love through tech casually. When security at home failed me, I found love beyond a home screen. Little me would be so proud to see her sleep over it, no longer a secret. No longer need a password when they password about my existence. So when someone asks, how do I view lesbians? I say in HD, and I no longer clear the browser history.
ऐसे लहरा के तू रूबरू आ गई, ऐसे लहरा के तू रूबरू आ गई। धड़कने बेतहाशा तड़पने लगी, धड़कने बेतहाशा तड़पने लगी। तीर ऐसा लगा, दर्द ऐसा जगा, तीर ऐसा लगा, दर्द ऐसा जगा। चोट दिल पे वो खाई, मजा आ गया, चोट दिल पे वो खाई। मेरे रश के कमर तूने पहली नजर जब नजर से मिलाई, मजा आ गया। जोश ही जोश में मेरी आगोश में आके तू जो समाई मजा आ गया मेरे रश के कमर तूने पहली नजर जब नजर से मिलाई मजा आ गया जब नजर से मिलाई मजा आ गया मैं भी बेकरार हूँ तू भी बेकरार है तेरा इंतजार है तेरा इंतजार है मैं भी बेकरार हूँ तू भी बेकरार है तेरा इंतजार है तेरा इंतजार है प्यार तो कर ले कर ले कर ले कर ले प्यार तो कर ले करार सोनिए आजा सोनिए दिल मांगता है दिल 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 मांगता है दिल मांगता है दिलदार सोनिए तू आजा सोनिए सोनिए वे सोनिए मेरे नाल 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 आजा सोनिए You will find true love. You will get that dream job. Relax, you will graduate. These things just take time. Enjoy where you are. You've got your whole life. I know it sounds cliche, but we're all built the same way. Just be sweet lightning. Remember, no one knows what they're really doing. Just be sweet lightning. Kill them with kindness. I hope you kill them all. Let them close their doors. You find a new way in. It's only 'cause you'll make them feel scared of the things they have never been. Bad people throw their shit on the walls. They don't even know what they stand for. They don't even know what they stand for. So just be sweet lightning. Remember, no one knows what they're really doing. Just be sweet lightning. Kill them with kindness. I hope you kill them all. You're gonna change the world. You're gonna change the world. Just be sweet lightning. Kill them with kindness. I hope you kill them all.
God, please do not condemn me for the unholy things I've done with my whole being, my whole's being, the only holistic remedy to the empty holes I cannot fill inside of me. But it's so hard to hold on to a fever dream of me being whole when I've seen my mother break at the sight of a man my whole, be a parking lot for men to put their whole thing in my space with no plans of reverse even. When I'm all stop signs and screams, they still find ways to make loopholes. I hold on to the idea that this whole thing is a nightmare. I feel like a gaping hole, ready to be fucked or fucked over. Either way, I'm put to good use, but I'm so holy, right? So many men pray to prey on my temple. I treat the bed like a pew and lay all my sins down at the foot of it. Been treating my body like whole foods. I've been a whole fool to believe that the condom and the Bible serve the same type of protection.
Some people try to pick out your flaws. They trip and you till you fall, but they're not living right at all. Lord, some people, yeah, fix their mind to confuse you, take advantage and abuse you, but hold strong.
Fucking auntie, man.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
You're being arrogant. I said what I said. You're being arrogant. I said what I said. Anywhere that we go, you feel no. Come moving everywhere with me. Come on, with me. Come on, we don't see skin, we don't see color. We see strength, we see power. We don't see race, one or the other. Once he is breathing on this earth, he is my brother.
Oh, hello. My name is Kamar Jewel, and I'm just trying to get my dinner together. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting Transcend Uplifting Their Voices event. You are supporting Black, queer, and trans artists as they go on the next journey of their artistry. Me as a Black person, I don't know if you know, but I'm Black. Me as a Black queer person, I have had so much support from my artistry over the years, and it really means a lot to me to see other people in the next generation also getting the support that they so desperately need. So, next up, you're going to see my newest video that just came out, so you're one of the first people to see it. It's called Soft, a Love Letter to Black Queer Men. And this video is about Black queer men using the language of contemporary dance in order to heal from homophobia, connect as a community, and serve as a reminder to be soft with themselves and others. There's so much toxic masculinity in the world, and when we think about Black men, they're always told to be hard and to be masculine and to be real men, hyper air quotes. And so this video is just a reminder that Black femininity, especially in Black men, is beautiful. And so I wanted to tell that story through dance. So I hope you enjoy Soft, a Love Letter to Black Queer Men by Kamar Jewel. Enjoy.
Poem for every gay Black feminine male. Here's our story. On November 2nd, 14-year-old Giovanni Melton was killed by his father because he was acting feminine. When Giovanni's father asked him if he was gay, he replied yes, and his father replied by beating him and shooting him in the chest. I'm telling you, it won't be safe for Black femininity to exist in any space in this cold and lonely, fucked up world come the day when I, Lester Eugene Mayers, proves that Black femininity is the strongest energy in the world.
There is a tree as old as me. Branches were sown by the color of green. The ground had rose and past its knees. By the cracks of his skin I climbed to the top. I climbed the tree to see the world. When the gods came around to blow me down, held on as tightly as you held on me. Held on as tightly as you held on me.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of our first annual Transcend Uplifting Their Voices concert and initiative. I'm Katharine Pettit, and this is Katharine Pettit Creative. And I'm going to toss it to my friend TJ here to speak about why it is so important that each of you continue to invest in supporting Black, trans, non-gender conforming, and queer artists.
Hi everyone, I'm TJ. I'm a part of KPC. This is everyone. I just wanted to reiterate and say thank you so much to everyone who participated in tonight's event. The work doesn't stop here. Transcend is an initiative that quite literally transcends what we believe to be the future of dance and decolonization of dance. So keep updated with KPC, follow us on Instagram, follow all the amazing artists on Instagram, and just continue to uplift, show out, and show up for Black, trans, queer, and gender nonconforming dances. And thank you so much to the ASL interpreter.
Yes, team Ariana, thank you so much. And even though the man behind the curtain, Jeff Watson, we want to give a massive shout out to our technical director, Jeff Watson. Everything, all the graphics, all the videos, all the promo you've seen leading up to this event. Like TJ said, this is ongoing. Please invest, in any way that you can. If it's sharing, if it's spreading the word, looking into the initiative more, reach out to us, ask us what you can do. We are more than willing and happy to have that conversation. Thank you from KPC, keeping people connected. Good night.
Night.